Bringing out the best in us, we have the pleasure of visiting the home of a famous celebrity and author, Toni Holt Kramer. She's on TV worldwide, from Australia to Palm Beach. She's also the founder of The Trumpettes, and she'll share some of her memories and thoughts following these messages.
Human age reversal. We may be there already. Human studies are now ready to begin to confirm meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. These clinical trials aim to alter older humans so that they function as much younger individuals. Even modest success will result in a paradigm shift that will impart enormous societal benefits, such as sparing Medicare from insolvency. Life extension is not standing idle while 5,000 Americans die each day from age-related illnesses. Joining us are physician scientists who want to hurry up these technologies to keep people from aging to death. While life extension is pushing these projects forward, we need financial help to ensure these studies are carried through to fruition. Join us on this essential mission.
Thank you for joining us. We're in the home of Toni Holt Kramer, and with me is Bill Faloon. What a pleasure to be in your home.
Well, it's a wonderful pleasure to have you and you too, Bill, here. Wonderful.
So show us around.
Well, I think you have to start at the beginning. Here we are, front door. Let's take a hike this way.
Let's do it.
Okay, come on, follow me.
Wow, Toni, tell us what we see here.
Oh, well, what you see here is a smattering of different parts of my life, different shows that I've done. Talk of the Town, which Ruta Lee, my TV partner, and I did for 7 years, all over the world. And these are Regis Philbin down here, Gene Barry and his wife Betty, My Star on the Boulevard in Palm Springs, Donald O'Connor, and Ruta and myself, Gary Sinise. That picture right over there at an interview I'm doing, my husband and myself in Italy, my favorite place, and Gene Hackman and Jack Jones and Merv Griffin and Jane Seymour. These are all different shows, different events, or just fun. And that wall will take you to another place, and then I'll take you to another room with another wall, and then to another room with another wall.
Absolutely fabulous. Let's go.
I feel like I'm walking through history, Richard.
You are.
Incredible.
This is history.
I've never seen one person with more celebrities in my life.
This is nothing. You should come to Palm Springs or LA.
Well,
My God, and I don't duplicate.
wow.
I see some politicians right here. Tell us what we see.
Oh, you know, I told you, I like Hollywood and I like Washington. So, in 2 days in Washington, the first time I went there, I seemed to meet everybody. And it was wonderful. So, there we are with Hillary at our house in Bel Air. We were the last civilian, I guess you would say, to have an audience with Bill separately, President Clinton, and with Hillary, who had just been elected junior senator to New York. And that was in the Red Room. Interesting. And here is my dear, loving, wonderful, super terrific Phyllis Diller, who I love so madly. And unfortunately, she's gone now, but she lives on with us. She was so funny. She used to write my mother a note every week, you know, and she'd write all these funny things to her, and she'd say, "Now, Helen, remember, never hire a housekeeper named Dusty."
That's so funny.
She was so cute.
Toni, I see Gerald Ford behind you. Tell us about that.
Oh, he was a dear friend and a dear person. He and his wife, Betty, they lived in Palm Springs, actually Rancho Mirage. They lived on the 13th hole of Thunderbird Country Club. And they were just wonderful people. She did so much for so many. And I wish I could show you the letters that he would keep in touch with us when he went away to Colorado for the summer. I mean, they were just fabulous people. Too bad he didn't live long enough to know Bill. He might still be alive today.
Quite possibly, I would say.
And Alan King, the wonderful Alan King. I don't think there was anybody funnier than him.
We are back with Toni Holt Kramer and Bill Faloon. I must say that was so exciting, taking a tour of your home and all those incredible pictures you have. Absolutely wonderful.
And incredible people. Incredible people.
Absolutely.
And it's so interesting because Bill knew Merv Griffin so well, and he'll tell the story about that, I bet, right now.
Well, back in the early 1980s, Merv Griffin got interested in life extension, and he would have our scientists go on his program for theme shows, and they were the most highly rated programs he'd ever have, because the lay
Well,
public...
nobody wants to get old.
Well,
I mean, come on. Nobody wants to get old. Everybody wants to stay young.
They do.
That's the whole thing. Stay young looking, stay healthy, and of course the only enemy you have is time.
Exactly.
You know, time is your enemy. And so therefore what you're doing with life extension is bringing out the fact that you don't have to get old necessarily that rapidly, prolonging.
You can delay aging significantly, that's a definite, and we think we can reverse it right now. That's
right
it.
now.
Right now.
Wow.
The technology right now exists.
Right now, we're going to
enable
reverse aging.
Old people.
I'm a candidate. Here I am.
Thank
Take
you,
me.
Toni. and more and more people are doing this. They're self-experimenting with very safe therapies. Therapies that are used regularly in routine medical practice. They're using them in a creative way to reverse their rate of biological aging. And what we at Life Extension are seeking to do is to validate how effective these technologies really are. Now, back in the early 1980s, you couldn't go to Google. You couldn't search this stuff out.
No.
The great news is you can. Everything we talk about in this program, you can run to your computer and type it in, such as NAD+.
Okay, listen. NAD+. You can go to your computer and check it out.
And just put NAD+ and aging.
And aging.
And be prepared to stay up all night and read.
And be prepared to stay up all night, and you won't have any rings under your eyes. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's that fascinating. Everything we talk about, you can review the scientific studies. You can review them both written in scientific lingo, and also newscasters are putting them into lay language so people can see what is really happening in the animal model and how well that translates into humans.
Wow. I mean, that is a wow. Because you know, we've done so much. When you stop and think, you just made a remark about years ago you couldn't go to Google and look up something. I remember when most of the celebrities that you've seen around the house, I never worked with a script. I hate a script. If you gave me a script with your name on it, I guarantee you I couldn't say it. But I love working without a script because I'm listening to you. And I'm connecting with you. So therefore, I never had a Google. I never had an iPhone to check out this or that. Communication was the essence of interviews in those days. But it would take us talking and take us connecting together to be able to find out. And then people are more interested because you're interested, I'm interested, and hopefully they're interested.
Not only are you both such well-known celebrities, but you're both authors. Tell us about the book you have coming out.
Oh, I've only been working on it about 8.5 years. Just one of those last-minute things. I never get done with it. I'm always redoing it. Every time I go, I'm done. It's called Unstoppable Me. And really, that is, you know, there are certain words that would describe a person. I think unstoppable is one of mine, and curious is the other. And the book really covers my life, good and bad, great Hollywood career, the people that made my life, really made me happen in Hollywood. Frank Sinatra lent me a helping hand. Rock Hudson gave me a helping hand. Danny Thomas gave me a helping hand. I mean, people, I'm going back, you know, when I first started, Dean Martin, I mean, incredible. And consequently, my life with Hollywood, and then getting bored with Hollywood, wanting to go on to Washington. So there's a lot of Washington, also the ups and downs of a human's life, you know, the good times, the bad times, the oh my God, what am I going to do times. You get it all.
It's an incredible track record, Toni.
Yeah,
incredible.
But I'm still working, and I'm still unstoppable.
Well, that is remarkable because a lot of those celebrities aren't around anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
a lot of them are. Thank God a lot of them are.
Yeah, and I think so many people, they needlessly contract degenerative illnesses as part of aging. Right. And there are ways to intervene that most people aren't taking advantage of. And that's always unfortunate.
It's true.
When a person descends into senility and they could have taken some steps ahead of time to prevent it, it's a regrettable scenario.
And don't you think sometimes that people don't really pay attention to their own body?
Well, Toni, when you and I were younger, you're correct. People ignored aging. They just accepted it as something
it wasn't going to happen to us.
Well, they also couldn't do anything about it back in those days. They couldn't do a lot about it. The great news is, with the technology that's emerging, we can at least delay aging, and that's been published in March 2018. The first publication
in where is it?
Scientific publication that talks about delaying aging.
Tell everyone the name. They're going to run out and read it.
Here's what the information is all about. That, and over the last 10 years, men are taking better care of themselves, and they are currently the biggest beneficiaries of slowing biological aging. A lot of women were doing this earlier. But the men were saying, I'm not going to do anything until I get sick, and they paid a big price.
Women were doing, I know Suzanne Summers, who I've known forever. I think we've known each other more years than we choose to count. But she looks beautiful and fabulous, and she's been working in health for, my gosh, for what, 20 years?
For about 25 years, and she had an issue where her health was threatened.
I remember she had breast cancer.
Yes, and she opened her eyes to the realities that she was not taking care of herself.
But she was always conscious. I mean, I will say, she was always conscious about what she ate. I remember that about her, always. Always aware, and I think that's the key word, is aware.
It's huge. And people nowadays are aware of what they eat. They know if it's unhealthy, they're cheating, so to speak, as opposed to just doing it every day and waiting for that heart attack to manifest.
Yeah, well, please. We don't want to walk around thinking about that, do we?
Well, Toni, if you think in our earlier years, a man having a heart attack at age 50 was common.
My husband lost his father at age 50-ish.
Yeah.
From a heart attack.
It was normal, and they weren't testing for cholesterol, triglycerides, glucose, C-reactive protein. They weren't looking at the markers that indicate you're at a higher risk. Do something about it. The great news is we can reduce cardiovascular risk dramatically. That's easy. It's now time to intervene into aging itself.
You know, it's funny. I remember being a little girl, and I mean a little girl, like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and my mother was talking to somebody, and she said something. She was talking, and I heard her. And I heard her say, well, they died. So-and-so died. And I said, why do people die? And she said, well, people just get old and they'll die. I said, no, that's not good. When I get older, they're going to invent something, I'll never forget this, that you just put a dropper in your mouth and you'll take these drops and you'll live. And that was always my concept, that someday,
wow.
Someday.
He's working precisely that right now.
Yeah.
There's no one in the world.
I mean, that was like 5 or 6 years old. Honestly.
Well, we have a lot in common, Toni, because when I was told about aging, I said, well, we got to defeat this thing. I was about 8 years old.
Yeah. I mean, that's an enemy.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. And up until recently, you couldn't do a whole lot about it. You could slow it down. You could reduce your heart attack risk, but something else would take you out. And right now, some of the major universities in this country are doing human studies using young plasma to see if they cannot rejuvenate older people.
And we don't sound like Frankenstein here. This is legit.
It is.
You know,
look, and once we identify the components of young plasma, it can be synthesized. And that means everybody can gain access to it.
So I can be a candidate for
You could be a candidate for young plasma infusions and other therapies that are demonstrating efficacy today. You don't have to wait for a new clinical study to start in South Florida or in California. You can do it right now anywhere in the United States.
Gosh, that would be wonderful. I can start walking around and going goo goo gaga, right? I can really bring back the time.
Most people feel a lot better. They're
I
more
bet you
energetic.
do. I bet, you know, from what you were telling me about yourself and the issues that you had health-wise as a younger person, and to be looking at you, I mean, I won't tell his age, but he's over 50. And he looks fantastic. He hasn't got a line in his face. He's youthful. He's energetic. You can see he keeps talking. He loves to talk about what he understands and loves, right? You love that.
Well, I do. I don't consider this a job. This is a life's mission to defeat aging.
Well, it has to be. You know, you can't get dedicated to that for a day or a week or a year, because you can't cure it in a day or a week or a year.
It is so stimulating, Toni, to read new reports every single day. Reports that maybe would occur every couple years, we're seeing them throughout the day, showing that people can live a lot longer and a lot healthier.
Well, didn't they say at one time that people could live to 120 or something?
Well, some people do, and they're very rare. But yeah, the maximum lifespan is about 120. We're seeking to blow through that by identifying the underlying factors that cause our cells to fail to repair themselves.
Right.
As we get older, our NAD levels decline. And then we are no longer... N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, D as in David. NAD.
Okay, so tell us what N stands for, A and D.
Nicotinamide, adenine, dinucleotide.
I wished I didn't ask.
It's a coenzyme. It's in all of your cells. And when you're born, you've got a lot of it. And up until the age of 20 or 30, you've got a lot of NAD. Then it starts to decline. By the time you reach 50, it's about half of where it was when you were younger. You reach age 80, it may not be there anymore. And then you won't be there much longer, because once NAD drops below, let's say 3, your health deteriorates.
Oh my gosh, where do we go?
Well, you go to
a doctor. I'm on my way.
You go to a doctor for an NAD infusion first, and then you follow up with an NAD precursor pill thereafter to maintain your levels around that 80 mark.
And does the NAD have any side effects that one of us wouldn't want?
Well, if you're a cancer patient undergoing chemotherapy, we say don't use it, because NAD repairs DNA, and chemotherapy often inflicts its damage by destroying DNA.
Can it bring cancer? Because they say everybody has a cancer gene in them.
Right. No, it's not going to cause cancer. We'll actually protect against cancer by repairing broken DNA that can result in a mutated cell forming a tumor. So the idea is it's a cancer preventative.
So tumors are caused by mutated cells.
Exactly.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, cancer is the result of just continuing mutations that result in abnormal cell proliferation. Those cells become malignant, they take a life of their own on, and they overwhelm the host.
Right, and sugar increases them.
Oh, absolutely. If you're a cancer patient, don't touch sugar, don't touch starch. You've got to follow kind of a ketogenic diet for at least that first year.
Right, I've heard that about, because I had a friend who had it, and she was very good about eating, but she was constantly drinking Coca-Cola. And I thought, oh my. No offense to Coca-Cola.
You're fueling the sugar with both the glucose and then the insulin response that your body produces to the glucose. It's fueling the cancer cells to propagate. So the idea is to avoid cancer, cut out the sugar, cut out the starches. And we recommend a drug called Metformin that diabetics take. We suggest healthy people take that to reduce their cancer risk.
Wow. And you can do that before you do the NAD?
Well, we recommend that because if you do have any hidden malignancies...
Now, what does metformin do
Metformin is an anti-diabetic drug. It turns down insulin production. It turns down glucose production in your liver.
Good.
So it'll lower your glucose level, but it also boosts an enzyme in your cell called AMPK. By boosting that enzyme, it turns down cancer cell proliferation. So we at Life Extension suggest virtually every cancer patient be prescribed metformin and other therapies.
And what about people who don't have cancer?
We'll take the metformin to prevent it.
And metformin is it a pill?
It's a prescription pill. You need your doctor to write a script for it. And most people tolerate it well. For people who don't tolerate it, there's other ways to turn up that AMPK enzyme.
And so if you didn't tolerate it, what would happen?
Well, you'd have diarrhea, GI upset. So
a lot of people would probably think that would be great.
And a lot of people say that, believe it or not. But nonetheless, for some people, they just don't tolerate it from a GI standpoint. There are other ways to accelerate AMPK activity inside your cells.
And you can cure that with some other pill, I presume.
Exactly.
Like Pepto-Bismol or something.
Green tea, curcumin, there's a number of nutrients that also boost AMPK, but the data right now rests mainly with metformin.
But I'm saying if you had an adverse reaction to metformin, then you could go ahead and have something that you could take that would eliminate or whatever.
It would emulate the effects of metformin. There are certain nutrients, certain lifestyle choices that will boost AMPK activity.
What about gluten? Do you believe that gluten is a problem?
Yeah, if you can avoid that, you're probably doing yourself a favor.
You know, I've learned, I've gone on not 100% gluten-free, but recently, I don't like to, for my weight, I don't like to, I love bread, but I try not to eat a lot of bread. So I have been eating gluten-free crackers, organic, gluten-free rice cakes, and I'll tell you, I do notice the difference.
Most people do. They have a
You do
gluten
notice
intolerance. It's low level, but it causes their bellies to grow.
Exactly.
And we've had so many people where we've recommended a book that tells you how to get off a gluten diet, and they'll call us up 3 months later and they're wearing younger pants. In other words, they've lost inches.
the belly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. I realize that. So fish, what about chicken?
Chicken's okay.
In moderation?
In moderation. The more you can stay away from animal products, the better your
What do you use for proteins?
Oh, soy protein is one way. Whey protein is a way to get healthy protein, even though it comes from the cow. It's one of the few things you can get.
Yeah. I've been drinking whey protein morning shakes
Very
for
good.
probably 15 years.
It's great for your immune system, has a lot of health benefits. But there's actually protein in vegetables, and people don't realize that.
Yes,
You
indeed.
eat a lot of broccoli, a lot of green vegetables. You're getting
Right.
all the protein you really need.
And walnuts, of
anchovies.
course.
You can have anchovies.
Yeah,
Anchovies. Youthful food.
It's fantastic because it's such a small fish. It doesn't have a lot of
Right.
mercury in
Doesn't
it.
have a lot of mercury. You can have beets with your.
Exactly.
You can have some of those wonderful, what I call I think it's 7 or 11. Sounds like Vegas. 7 or 11 health, youthful foods.
Oh yeah, they're out there. The good vegetables that prevent cancer, that reduce atherosclerotic risk, they're out there. And most people understand what they are.
But do they have to be organic? Because
if you can afford it, but a lot of people don't have that kind of money. So we say, yes, get those plants and wash them good and eat them. Don't be afraid of pesticides. You can remove a lot of them anyway.
Can you remove the pesticides?
You can
really?
remove a lot of them, but
I
certainly
always
not all of
even
them.
worry about organic. I wonder if where they're growing, if they're using pesticides in the soil.
Oh, I can't really say for each supplier.
You can worry about everything.
You know, if people have the financial resources, of course you go organic. But since everyone watching doesn't, we want to make sure that they don't avoid healthy vegetables.
Better to eat the vegetables. Wash them well, though.
Because bear in mind, the cows are eating the food that's already contaminated with all kind of bad stuff.
That's right. And they're getting injections maybe, too.
Exactly. Growth
and maybe
hormone.
they're getting corn.
They're fed tons of corn, which is all made in ways you wouldn't want to eat it in a lot of cases.
That's right. No, I wouldn't want to eat that.
Which is why I'm proud to say that I'm a vegetarian. Even
Are
though,
you?
Yes, absolutely, yes. I haven't eaten meat since I was 15.
Really?
Yes.
But you do supplement with other foods. You have fish and chicken and things like that.
No fish and chicken.
No fish and chicken.
Supplements from life
You are
extension.
a true vegan.
Not vegan. I mean, I do like the odd camembert and bread.
Do you have eggs?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, I didn't mean to...
So you're a moderate.
Yes.
You're a moderate.
But this conversation is so captivating. I just don't want to talk about my particular interests. I'd like you to continue because it's just amazing.
Well, what's interesting is more people are switching to vegetarian-type lifestyles because they're aware of the data.
Right.
It shows you're going to add about 7 years to your life just by switching.
Right.
And for some people, it's
Do
significant.
you think it cuts down on heart attacks and strokes,
Yes,
too?
big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
You have a big following internationally, not only because you founded the Trumpettes. Share with our audience what you're doing in social media and in all your other...
I do. I have an enormous following. And I'm very grateful because I have people from not only throughout America, and you were at my January 18th party where I had, we won't say how many hundreds of people, but we had 2 ballrooms, first time at Mar-a-Lago with 2 ballrooms were for the same event. And that was the Trumpet event, celebrating our president's 1-year anniversary. And we never sent one invitation out. We never had to.
That's tremendous.
We were sold out completely in 11 days. People that will share with you like you're sharing with me and we're sharing with you and the audience. Now we've given people something to learn.
I think what you're saying, Toni, is people around the world are really questioning the role that government should have in their lives.
Right, exactly.
And they're rebelling against big government in many respects.
But don't you think sometimes, I hate to say this, it sounds so terrible, but true. I mean, don't you think sometimes that doctors, hospitals, and all these other people really don't want to see a quick ending to a problem because it would affect the economy? I mean, how would hospitals stay in business if they didn't have enough sick people in them?
Well, we're going to
Isn't that awful? Did I say that?
Well,
they'll shoot me out there.
in many respects, I think they're too busy dealing with their own bureaucracy to even understand what's emerging. But what's emerging is going to be technology that will keep people from going into the intensive care unit, which is where they make a lot of money. Older people with immune senescence, they're very vulnerable to infections that keep them hospitalized for months. Where hospitals
and then they get other infections that kill them.
Yeah, and all that is potentially preventable right now. And so as it relates to revenue loss, they're going to sustain.
Listen, I want to get out of here and go try all of those things. I want to be a candidate.
Oh, absolutely.
I really do. You can follow me and see how I feel.
Understood. That's fantastic, Toni, because I think you'll feel better not only outwardly.
I'll be, my husband and I, he'll be the man, I'll be the woman, we'll be the ones to try it, and then the audience can see, I'll tell them how I feel. And
it's how you feel and what do your blood chemistry tests look like. We see where they are, baseline, and then have you intervene with different therapies and see how we can improve those markers. We want you to look like a much younger person.
Well, we'll look better too.
Well, outwardly, we hope by feeling better, you'll look fantastic, but we want to see those biomarkers appear as numbers that are related to a 25 or 35-year-old as opposed to...
I'll buy that.
You've had such an inspiring conversation here, the two of you. I've just been sitting here enjoying listening to you. But
we haven't meant to ignore you, honestly, Richard.
It's okay.
We just got so engulfed in this,
I was so happy
being young and staying young and feeling healthy and, outliving everybody.
Fantastic. I'm just happy listening to the two of you. But what final message would you like to share with our audience, Toni?
Well, now maybe we're all going to have a longer life and a healthier life as trumpettes.
Outstanding.
Why not? The trumpettes live on.
Just sharing information. That's all you have to do.
That's right. And we have lots of websites. TrumpetsUSA.com, if you don't mind. ToniHoltKramer.com. Facebook, friend me, Toni Holt Kramer. Or soon I will be very good at Twitter and Instagram. I'm on my way.
And of course, there's lifeextension.com as well.
Lifeextension.com, right.
I wish we could just continue this conversation for another hour. Unfortunately, we're limited in time, but we have to do this again simply.
We'd love to, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Me too.
Thank you for being with us.